Morning, this is Reynan Cariaga Malinaw, and I talk about symbolic arguments. In this section, we considered method of analyzing the arguments to determine whether they are valid or invalid. For instance, consider the following arguments. If Aristotle was human, then Aristotle was mortal. Aristotle was human, therefore Aristotle was mortal. An argument and a valid argument. It consists of a set of statements called premises and another statement called the conclusions. An argument is valid if the conclusion is true, whenever all the premises are assumed to be true. An argument is invalid if it is not a valid argument. In the argument about Aristotle, the two premises and the conclusions are shown below. It is customary to replace a horizontal line between the premise and the conclusion. So the first premise, if Aristotle was human, then Aristotle was mortal. And second premise, Aristotle was human. For the first premise, if Aristotle was human, then Aristotle was mortal. Second premise, Aristotle was human. And our conclusion, therefore, Aristotle was mortal. I have said, it is customary to place a horizontal line between the premise and the conclusions. Argument can be written in symbolic form. For instance, if we let H represent the statement, Aristotle was human, and M represent the statement, Aristotle was mortal, then the argument can be expressed as the three dots represent therefore. So let us practice writing an argument in symbolic form. We have an argument. The fish is fresh, or I will not order it. The fish is fresh, therefore I will order it. And the solution will be F represent the statement the fish is fresh, and O represent the statement I will order it. And the symbolic form of the argument is F represent the fish is fresh, and we write O for the statement I will order it. And the next is argument and truth table. So we have a procedure to determine the validity of an argument. First is write the argument in symbolic form. And the second is contrast a truth table that shows the true value of each premises and the true value of conclusions for all combination of true value of the simple statement. If the conclusion is true, in every row, the truth table in which all the premises are true, argument is valid if the conclusion is false. In every row in which all the premises are true, the argument is invalid. And now, we will use the procedure to determine the validity of the argument about Aristotle. Once again, we let H represent the statement Aristotle was human, and M represent the statement Aristotle was mortal. In symbolic form, the argument is the second, constructing the truth table as shown below, consisting the first premise, the second premise, and the conclusions. Row 1, we have first premise true, second premise is true, and the conclusion is true. In row 2, in the first premise, we have false, the second premise is true, and the conclusion is false. And for the row 3, we have first premise true, second premise false, and the conclusion will be true. And last, the row 4, we have the first premise of true, second premise is false, and the conclusion is false. Okay, as you can see, row 1 is the only row in which all the premises are true. So it is the only row that we examine because the conclusion is true. In row 1, the argument is valid. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.